Today I thought I would share with you a look at my workshop in Madeline Island. We're just coming across on the ferry here, and I'm just going to walk you through our arrival and my first day here on the island. I'm so excited to be here and painting for this week. Well, extremely overtired. Long day of travel, but I'm here at Madeline Island, School of the Arts. Look how pretty. It's the perfect time of day. This is such a peaceful place, and I'm really excited to teach here tomorrow. I've got my workshop stuff all set up. I unpacked the items that I had shipped here, the different gifts for my students and the supplies that I'll be using, so I didn't have to have such heavy luggage, which didn't work out so good because I was still almost overweight. And tomorrow we're just going to start painting and see what we can make with, this terrible lack of inspiration. And the main thing, I think, and it was really interesting because at dinner this evening we were talking, there's 3 other instructors here. There's 2 memoirists who are teaching writing workshop and a quilter, and talking about really getting personal with what you're doing and telling a story, authenticity, all of the things that matter so much to me, and being able to just feel that common thread of what they're doing and what we're doing in the workshop, showing up to paint from this place of authenticity, identity, and trust. Using skill, yes, wanting to be good and communicate well, but most of all, that communicating well comes from, who am I and what do I want to share and how do I show up in my work, maybe with some vulnerability and maybe with the recognition that I'm not perfect yet. I'm just going to show up and give what I have to give to my painting practice today. And I'm excited to do that with my students tomorrow. There is no way you can do justice to these beautiful surroundings. And so we just get to, just look at that. So we just get to kind of be in awe and be present and kind of participate in it a little bit. And I just think that's really what it's all about. So this is my classroom. We'll be starting here tomorrow morning. And focusing, I think, on what's outside our windows, just to get us a little bit initiated and get a plein air feel without having to go outdoors. It might be a little bit rainy this week. And so this will give us the opportunity to have some flexibility in what we do. I love the way that we have art from different artists who have taught here in the past on the walls, because I often reference what they have chosen to do when I talk about their paintings and when I talk about us making choices in painting. There's just so many good examples here, and I don't just have to be the sole authority, which I always think is a good idea when we're talking about developing your personal style. Just wrapping up day 1, and I wanted to show you a little bit of what I did today. We were in and out of the studio, just stepping right outside the doors to paint plein air today. So I had the chance to demonstrate kind of what I demonstrate on the first day is generally kind of getting outside of your own head, because I come in, I want to do well, I want to perform, and yet I need to let go of expectations. I need to find my voice as an artist in a new place with a new group of people, and that's really a trust building exercise. And I think it's important to acknowledge that, because it gives you space to not know your way through it yet. And so that's what I hope to model to my students with this. I don't want to model it. I want to just show up and paint great stuff from day 1, but that's not how it works. I have to come into my painting practice as a teacher the same way I do in the studio, and that is finding your footing, looking for your voice. This place is beautiful and full of inspiration. I love the milkweed, which is in bloom right now, and the monarch butterflies. I'm just chasing a butterfly here with my camera, trying to, they've just float through the air, and it's so beautiful. We don't have monarchs in the north where I am, so it's something special about Madeline Island that I take with me when I go home and what I enjoy when I come here. Listening to the birds, just loving the beautiful waving grass of the meadow. All of these things are inspirational, and I carry them with me as I paint. So just part of the practice is walking out of the studio and then just taking all of this in. And I don't want to diminish the reward and the richness of just being a viewer, an onlooker, a witness to beauty. That is what we need to be able to bring into the painting practice. And I love that Madeline Island provides this really undistracted place for us to do that. It's so peaceful here and so beautiful. And the conversations we have with the other workshop attendees during mealtime, it's interesting the common threads of creativity that we talk about as we sit and enjoy a meal together. They're quilting in the next room, they're writing upstairs, and each one of us has a creative connection that we get to share. Just had to get in close to that. I think it's a monarch caterpillar. And looking forward to tomorrow. We're going to get away from the campus and head out to the park and see what we can paint there. In the meantime, I'm just kind of enjoying this first day. I don't feel like it was the most masterpiece producing day, but it was that day of settling in and just finding our footing in this space and just getting to know each other a little bit. It's a trust building process. And I have to remember that when I start to feel inadequate. One of the things we really talked about today, and I touched on at least a little bit, is this idea of your art practice being informed by everything you've done in the past. And I think so often we only think about the intentional things that we bring to our painting practice. So the decisions that I want to make, I'm going to use this color, I'm going to use this shape, I'm going to choose this brush. And we don't always think about the fact that in our body of knowledge that we carry inside of us, we have choices that are informed by our taste. We have accumulated knowledge that is informing that choice of which brush you use and that choice of how you create texture in that shape and all of those little things. And so that's one thing we've talked about today, because to me, it offers an idea of trust that even when I'm not intentionally making choices, I am thinking about, or there is a knowledge that I carry with me and that I bring to the table. There are things and strategies I've done in the past that I'm going to be choosing. And I want to trust that intrinsic body of knowledge is going to do my painting some good. It's important to me. And I wanted to demonstrate that today, because that means that even when I choose to do something completely different, I have a painting I've completed and then I move to the next version, and we talk a lot about versions in this process. So when I move to the next version, I feel as though I'm starting over or I'm trying to do something completely different, but I don't ever get to abandon that original version because it's still inside of me. The person that made those choices is still me. And so whatever I bring that's new, I also bring kind of a resonance or an echo of the old. And that's a good thing, because it gives me a consistency to my body of work. It means I'm not starting from a completely blank page anytime I start painting. And I want to demonstrate that to my students. I want to remember that in my own painting practice, because it creates a position of strength and freedom for me that I think is really important. And I guess what it makes me think of is that when I was only painting infrequently, I would feel like I have to regain whatever ground I've lost in not painting for that period of time. I have to catch up again and regain something. And I don't think that anymore, because what I've seen is that even when a long time period goes between painting sessions, I'm still seeing the world like an artist. I'm still approaching things that I notice, thinking about how I would paint that. I'm still looking at other people's art, and I still carry with me a body of knowledge that maybe I won't access it quite as quickly and readily, but my taste has still been developed and being developed. And so every painting that I do owes a debt of gratitude to the painting that came before it, regardless of whether or not those paintings were successes or failures. I'm building on something. I've got this foundation, and I want to demonstrate that to my students because it creates an environment of trust. And when you create an environment of trust in your painting practice, then you get to have a little bit of peace, and you get to let go of some of the urgency about getting it right today. And rather you get to trust that whatever you're learning today is going to benefit your painting practice in the future, regardless of regardless of whether you've succeeded or not. And that is something I've learned, I believe in, I trust in. The feelings that come with a painting not going fantastic, especially on day one when I'm really trying to find my footing and trying to unlock the key to painting Madeline Island, it takes time, and I have a limited amount of time here. So it could be very easy to feel anxious about the fact that maybe no masterpieces were created on day one, but there were glimmers of good things that I'm going to build on tomorrow. And I really want to look for that. I want to model that for my students because, an art practice is lifelong. However long your life might be, if you're committed to art for this time period in your life, there's some freedom there to say, there's tomorrow, there's the next painting session. And however many painting sessions I get, I'm going to keep building and progressing. And so right now I'm right where I need to be. And I trust that. I tell myself that. I coach myself with that because I'm not very good at remembering it all the time. But as I lean into that belief, I see it play out. It proved itself true time and time again, and that makes me excited about the future and about what we're going to paint tomorrow. So that's the goal. Thanks for watching. I hope you'll be back tomorrow to watch tomorrow's World Watercolor Month daily video. As you know, I'm doing fresh YouTube videos every single day this month in July in celebration of World Watercolor Month. If you are following along and you have not done so yet, please do sign up for my email mailing list because I'm sending out first notice of these videos, first of all, and I always try to share good value that will encourage you in your art practice to be your own favorite artist, to create work that is authentically you, not perfect, not all about your ego even, but really about letting your heart shine through in your art. And that's been my goal for my art practice, and it has been incredibly rewarding, and I wish the same for you. If you have not signed up for my mailing list, do visit angelafehr.com, and you can do that right away. Thanks for watching. Bye for now.